Welcome back to Super Rare Coins, the channel where ordinary pocket change can turn into extraordinary treasure. In today's exciting video, we are counting down the top 4 coins that may look completely normal, but could be worth thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars in today's auction market. These are the kinds of coins people spend every day without realizing their true potential, from rare mint marks to hidden mint errors, from circulated finds to unexpected high-value varieties. Each coin on today's list has a story that could surprise you. If you have old pennies sitting in a jar, drawer, or your wallet right now, you'll want to watch until the very end, because one small detail could mean the difference between 1 cent and a life-changing payday. Let's start. Top 1. The 2011 United States Shield Lincoln 1 cent with no mint mark, a coin that many people ignore in their pocket change, but that can become extremely valuable under the right conditions. This coin belongs to the Shield Reverse Design series introduced in 2010 to replace the Lincoln Memorial design, and it continues the historic legacy of the Lincoln cent first introduced in 1909. The obverse of the 2011 Shield cent still features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner. You will see the word Liberty on the left, the date 2011 on the right, and if there is no mint mark under the date, that means this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia coins traditionally carry no mint mark for cents, which makes no mint mark normal for this issue, but collectors always check carefully because rare varieties and errors can dramatically increase value. On the reverse side, the Union Shield design represents the preservation of the United States as one nation. The shield has 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies, and a horizontal bar across the top symbolizing Congress. The bold 1 cent and United States of America inscriptions stand out clearly even on circulated pieces. Now let's talk about condition, because condition is everything in the coin market. The coin you are asking about is described as scratched and circulated in fine condition. In fine condition, the coin shows moderate wear. Lincoln's hair details are partially worn, the cheek and jaw have visible smoothing, and on the reverse, the shield lines may be softer but still visible. Scratches reduce value, especially if they are deep or across the portrait. The 2011 Lincoln Shield cent is made of a copper-plated zinc composition, weighing 2.5 grams. Millions were produced in Philadelphia, so in normal circulated fine condition, a scratched example is usually worth only face value, meaning 1 cent, or at most a few cents to a beginner collector. However, the auction market can be very different if the coin has a rare mint error, dramatic die crack, off-center strike, double die variety, or another significant minting anomaly. Some 2011 no-mint mark cents with major mint errors have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the rarity and condition. For a coin to approach an extraordinary auction figure like $30,000, it would need to have a spectacular and verified mint error, possibly a dramatic double die obverse, a major off-metal strike, or a unique transitional error confirmed by professional grading services, such as PCGS or NGC. Without such a rare error, a regular scratched fine example would not realistically reach that level. In today's auction market, collectors are especially interested in modern error coins because they are harder to find in circulation and often go unnoticed. If your 2011 no-mint mark shield cent has unusual doubling on the date or lettering, a missing clad layer, or a strong off-center strike, you should never clean it. Cleaning destroys the original surface and can reduce the value drastically. Instead, store it in a protective holder and consider submitting it to a professional grading company for authentication. The key factors that determine the value of your 2011 Lincoln Shield cent are mint error presence, eye appeal, surface preservation, originality, and certified grading. Even a scratched coin can be valuable if the error itself is dramatic and rare. Auction houses and online platforms have shown that modern coins with unique characteristics can surprise the market when two serious collectors compete. So before you spend your 2011 Lincoln Shield 1 cent with no mint mark, examine it carefully under magnification. Look for doubling in Liberty, the date, or I in God we trust. Check the shield lines on the reverse for unusual breaks or raised lines that could indicate die cracks. Weigh the coin to confirm it matches the standard 2.5 grams, because an off-metal error could dramatically increase value. In conclusion, while a normal scratched fine condition 2011 no mint mark Lincoln Shield cent is generally worth face value, top 2. The 2013 United States Lincoln Shield 1 cent with no mint mark, commonly called a Lincoln penny, that some collectors believe could have dramatic value, possibly up to $30,000, even when it appears scratched and in circulated, fine condition. Most people overlook pennies, but once you understand the history, rarity factors, condition grading, and what really moves the auction market, you'll see why this coin has become a topic of serious discussion among numismatists and treasure hunters. The coin we're talking about was struck in 2013 at the Philadelphia Mint, which means it carries no mint mark. On Lincoln cents, the absence of a mint mark is normal for Philadelphia production. The obverse features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, continuing the design lineage that began in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of his birth. On the reverse is the shield design, introduced in 2010 to replace the long-running Lincoln Memorial reverse. This shield represents the unity of the states and is deeply symbolic in modern U.S. coinage. The bold inscription United States of America and 1 cent are clearly visible on the reverse, and the overall look of the coin connects classic American coin artistry to the present day. Under normal circumstances, a 2013 Shield penny is extremely common. Millions of these coins were minted and released into circulation, so typically they stay at face value, just 1 cent, especially when found in everyday change. However, while most examples are ordinary, the real numismatic excitement comes from rare mint errors or unusual characteristics that can make one of these coins dramatically more valuable. Let's first talk about the condition described: scratched and circulated, fine condition. In grading terms, fine condition means that the coin shows clear signs of wear. Lincoln's cheek and jaw are smooth, the hair details are worn, and the shielding lines on the reverse are softer, but still identifiable. Scratches can detract from visual appeal and reduce collector interest. For a common coin in ordinary condition, these surface issues usually mean a modest value not far above face. But the value in today's auction market doesn't come from ordinary. It comes from extraordinary errors. For a 2013 Shield cent to be worth something in the thousands, especially as high as $30,000, it must have a major mint error that is both strikingly unusual and verifiably authentic. Some examples of dramatic mint errors that might reach high auction values include dramatic double die obverse or reverse, where doubling is unusually strong on the date, lettering, or shield. Off-center strikes of significant degree, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly aligned in the press. Die breaks, die cracks, or cut errors that create large raised areas not intended by the design. Wrong planchet errors, where the coin was struck on the wrong metal blank, producing a heavy or odd weight. Clipped planchets or broad strikes that are visually striking and extremely rare. Modern error coins can fetch surprising premiums because they're harder to find than many older classic coins. Serious collectors and investors often compete in auctions when a rare error appears, especially if it's been authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. Authentication and grading are essential. Without them, even a coin with a dramatic error won't reach high values because buyers must trust the authenticity and rarity. The difference between a 1-cent coin and a $30,000 coin often lies in these details and in certification. If your 2013 No Mint Mark Shield cent has significant doubling, dramatic off-center features, or a major missing element, and it looks visually striking even with wear, then this coin deserves professional attention. Never clean the coin. Cleaning destroys the original surface and almost always lowers value. Instead, place it in a protective holder and take clear, high-resolution photos before considering submission to a grading service. Now, when coins with rare modern errors appear in today's auction market, they sometimes sell for extraordinary amounts. For example, dramatic modern double dies, extreme off-centers, and major mint mistakes have previously broken records far above typical expectations for pennies. If collectors see something unique and rare, especially if a professional grading company assigns a high grade or highlights the error, prices can climb into the thousands. In a rare instance where multiple collectors are bidding, values can climb even higher, sometimes into five-figure territory. Top 3. The 1983 United States Lincoln Memorial 1 cent with a D-Mint mark that some collectors believe could reach as high as $40,000 in today's auction market, even though it appears scratched and in circulated, fine condition. Most people think of pennies as everyday pocket change, but in the world of coin collecting, a rare error or unusual characteristic can turn a common coin into a rare treasure. The coin we are discussing was struck in 1983 at the Denver Mint, which is why it carries the D-Mint mark under the date. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, based on the classic design that has appeared on the 1 cent since 1909. On the reverse is the Lincoln Memorial, a design used from 1959 through 2008 and still cherished by many collectors. The Lincoln Memorial motif shows a tiny, detailed rendition of the Memorial Building in Washington, and if you look closely, you can even see the seated statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a nice detail that makes this design easy to identify. Under normal circumstances, a 1983 Lincoln Memorial cent in circulated, fine condition is a very common coin. Millions were produced, and most of them were spent as pocket change over decades. With scratches and moderate wear, the surfaces on both the obverse and reverse show flattening and loss of detail in the hair, cheek, and shield, which is typical for a coin that has seen everyday use. This kind of wear normally places a coin solidly at or near face value, just 1 cent unless there's something unusual going on. What makes this coin exciting is not the metal or date itself, but potential rare errors or anomalies that can appear on coins even from common issues. In the auction world, what drives value isn't just age, it's rarity paired with collector demand. For a 1983 cent to fetch values as high as $40,000, it must have an extremely rare and dramatic characteristic that sets it apart from every other example. Here are the kinds of rare features that can turn an ordinary penny into a high-value collectible. Major double die error, where the date or letters on the obverse are visibly doubled in a strong and unmistakable way. Severe off-center strike, where a large portion of the design is missing because the coin blank was not properly aligned in the press. Die cracks, cuds, or die breaks so pronounced that they create unusual raised areas on the surface that did not appear in normal strikes. Wrong planchet or clipped planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a blank of incorrect metal or with part of the blank missing. Strike-throughs or foreign material embedded in the metal that create rare and dramatic appearances. Collectors and auction houses look for visual impact, rarity, and documentation. If your 1983 cent has a striking error that is immediately noticeable even with the naked eye, especially on something as visible as the date or lettering, that's where the real value lies. These dramatic errors are extremely uncommon, which is why when one does surface, Serious collectors go after them aggressively, sometimes pushing prices very high. But before any coin can reach true collector value, let alone something as high as $40,000, it needs authentication and professional grading. Services like PCGS or NGC examine coins to confirm that the error is genuine and not a post-mint alteration, and they assign a grade that helps buyers trust what they are bidding on. Without this certification, even a rare coin will not typically reach top auction values because buyers are not willing to take a big risk. Another key point: never clean a coin. Cleaning destroys the original surface and can permanently reduce value, especially for rare error coins. Scratched coins already show wear, but cleaning makes them even less desirable in the eyes of collectors and graders. In today's auction market, there are modern coins that have sold for highly unexpected prices because they had significant errors. These sales make headlines in numismatic circles and draw attention from coin enthusiasts everywhere. When an unusual 1983 cent error appears, it tends to generate competitive bidding, especially if the coin is graded and photographed well. That being said, the vast majority of 1983 Lincoln Memorial cents, even scratched and in fine condition, remain common and worth face value. The dramatic prices we are talking about only apply to the rarest of the rare, with certified, unmistakable mint errors. Top 4. The 2000 United States Lincoln Memorial 1 cent with AD mint mark, a coin that most people dismiss as everyday change, yet under the right circumstances could be worth extraordinary money, even up to $40,000 in today's auction market. This isn't just a penny. It's a journey into how rarity, errors, condition, and collector demand can turn something ordinary into something truly remarkable. This coin was struck in the year 2000 at the Denver Mint, which is why it bears the D Mint mark just below the date. On the obverse, you see the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that has appeared on the 1 cent since 1909 and has become one of the most recognizable images in U.S. coinage history. On the reverse is the Lincoln Memorial design, introduced in 1959 and used through 2008, celebrating the national monument in our nation's capital. This design is beloved by collectors because of the tiny representation of the memorial building, and if you look closely, you can even see the small statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. Under ordinary circumstances, a 2000 Lincoln Memorial penny in circulated, fine condition with scratches, wear on Lincoln's cheek and hair, and softened details on the reverse is extremely common. Millions were minted, and countless examples have been spent, saved, and passed through pocket change over the years. Typically, such a coin would be worth only face value 1 cent, or maybe a small premium to someone who collects circulated coins. But what turns an ordinary coin into a high-demand collectible is not the date alone, but the presence of something unusual, especially major mint errors or rare varieties that make the coin stand out from all others. In the world of numismatics, a dramatic error can elevate a coin from everyday change to a high-value collectible in auction markets around the world. Let's talk about what kind of errors would matter. For a 2000 penny to approach values as high as $40,000, it must have one of the following types of significant, eye-catching mint errors. A dramatic double die where the date, letters, or design elements show obvious doubling that's visible without intense magnification. A severe off-center strike, where a noticeable part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't aligned correctly in the press. A wrong planchet error, where the coin was struck on an incorrect metal blank, resulting in unusual weight and appearance. A major die crack or cud that created unusual raised areas not intended in the original design. A clipped planchet so extreme that part of the coin's shape is missing in a striking manner. Collectors prize coins with large, visually dramatic errors because these pieces are rare and instantly recognizable. Serious coin buyers look for visual impact. When a coin has a striking anomaly, something that will make it stand out in a collection, its appeal skyrockets. Now, let's talk about condition. In coin grading, fine means the coin has moderate wear, but the major details are still visible. Lincoln's beard and cheek are worn. The hairlines are softer, and the wreath and inscriptions on the reverse are flattened compared to an uncirculated coin. Scratches do detract from appearance, but for error coins, the error itself often matters more than surface wear. However, surface condition still plays a big role in professional grading. A highly unusual error coin in better condition tends to fetch much higher values. Before a coin can be sold for thousands, let alone $40,000, serious collectors require professional authentication and grading. Services like PCGS and NGC examine the coin to confirm that the error is genuine and not the result of post-mint damage or intentional alteration. The grading organization will assign a grade, encapsulate the coin in a protective holder, and provide certification that buyers trust. Without this certification, even a rare error coin is unlikely to reach top auction prices because buyers won't risk uncertainty. Another crucial rule: never clean a coin. Cleaning destroys the original surface and often removes subtle evidence of mint errors that are critical to establishing rarity and authenticity. Scratched or worn coins may look ordinary, but the original surfaces are incredibly valuable to graders and collectors because they preserve the story of how the coin was formed. In today's auction markets, modern error coins have generated headlines by bringing unusually high prices. Some Lincoln cents from the 1990s and 2000s with dramatic errors have sold for thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars when the error was certified and the coin presented well. Auctions are competitive environments when two or more collectors really want the same rare piece. Prices can rise quickly. So, if you have a 2000D Lincoln Memorial penny that looks unusual, maybe the date or wording looks doubled, or the design is oddly off-center,